got a very special guest, our very first guest, also owner of Glitch, good friend, business partner, Tyler. Can I say your last name?
Yeah, it's
Tyler
like, it's my whole other channel now.
No. Tyler Wine.
Yes, that's me.
Wildcat.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on the show from the company that I also own.
He was forced to be here.
Yeah,
but
I really tried to get out of it.
Yeah, but
those dang shareholders.
there was a company vote. And yeah, but what do we got in these shakers? First off, let's start with that.
This is the brand new Wildflower Breeze Hydration, and it is actually delicious.
Cheers.
I know I'm biased, but this is the best flavor we've released yet. It's my third signature flavor.
Ooh.
And it straight up tastes like liquid candy. It's so good.
With a little bit of something else. Maybe a flower.
A little bit of hibiscus. Hence where you get the Wildflower Breeze.
A lot of you have been saying that, some of the friction around buying these launches, you don't know what it tastes like. And
we're trying to help you out.
Yeah.
This tastes like crushed up candy. Specifically, Smarties candy.
It's amazing.
But the actual flavors are what? Blueberry, acai, pineapple, and hibiscus. If I told you those flavors, you wouldn't think it would taste good, but I promise you, it is amazing.
There might be some random stuff in there. We just told our supplier to make it taste.
Hey, start with
amazing.
this and then make it good.
Yeah.
They're just like, make it candy-like.
We started with like hibiscus, and then like hibiscus honey, and then
the
honey
hibiscus
lemon.
wasn't as good then.
And then we just told them to throw in a bunch of random stuff. Yeah.
It's very good though. I really like it.
It's incredible. Yeah. On that note, a lot of people want to know like how we do flavoring, what that process looks like.
For my flavors,
Yeah.
my first flavor was just one of my personal favorite flavors. I said if I wanted to have a glitch flavor, I wanted to do my favorite flavor, which was a blueberry lemonade, because there was some lemonade drink company or whatever, they make a blueberry lemonade. I just really liked it.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's got to be my flavor. So wildberry free. And then I had to come up with the name, blueberry, wildberry. I want to keep wild in all the names. And then I thought it would be cool to do wildberry freeze, because it's like in the summertime, it's like a popsicle, which I think we did some promo of that.
Yeah, we did.
The shaker was all frozen.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, we used some dry ice.
And then the second flavor was just like my second favorite flavor of anything, which is cherry limeade. I just think those two flavors are really good. I really like lime. So that was easy. Wild cherry, that's a thing. And then squeeze, because you're squeezing the limeade out of the lime.
Yeah.
And then the third flavor kind of was the name first and then the flavor second.
Yeah, that was a change up for us, because it's usually the flavor first.
I just thought of wildflowers because my fiance has a wildflower field. So I thought that was cool. And then wildflower breeze. Wow, how summery and nice.
And then we were like, how do we flavor that?
Yeah, and I was like, how do I make it a flavor? But what's funny is this is truly my favorite flavor of the three, and it's the one where the flavor was the afterthought. It was it was more focused on the name.
We love the name
and the branding, like the actual design.
That's sick. Shout out to Houston.
He's
killed
right there.
it.
He's behind the camera.
Yeah.
We can see him. You guys can't.
It's incredible.
And I got my little flower piggy. I actually really like.
Yeah, these shakers are amazing too.
But yeah. But the other flavors are just. I guess you can speak more to that.
Yeah, really, we try to come up with, okay, what are flavors that we want to try and like, and our partner that we use for flavoring, we can basically bring them any ideas and they can make it come to life. Sometimes they're better than others. Some especially when we work with creators. Some yeah.
Oh, can you make it taste like cola, but then add chocolate and strawberries in it?
Yeah. So my mother-in-law loves soda
Can we
flavors.
have a chocolate milk and dino nugget flavor, Jim? Can we make that happen?
And we humored him for a little bit. We tried the soda flavors. None of them were great.
It just tastes like flat soda.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, they just weren't.
Maybe we'll figure it out at some point. But
yeah, well, if we go into cans, that's easy to make.
Why
soda
is
flavors.
we wouldn't have to go carbonated with cans, right?
You wouldn't have to, no.
So what would be the decision there behind doing that?
There's
a
lot.
I would want it to be carbonated, but
so when you get into cans, it's really interesting because like there's different levels of carbonation. So some companies will have them like super carbonated. So like Bang Energy, for example, is like super carbonated. Juvie is like
Monster
lightly carbonated. Monster probably super carbonated. And so it's like about mouthfeel, taste, aftertaste, carbonation.
Mouthfeel's a fun one. I don't know. I just like that. It does matter though.
does.
Mouthfeel's important.
There's a lot of crazy
Our
stuff. Our
formula has come a long way in the mouthfeel department.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not like the way it felt in my mouth in the very, very beginning.
No.
Got much better at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to everyone that bought the OG glitch.
Yeah, you guys.
Some people still love it. Whenever people talk
It
about
wasn't bad, but it is so much better now. It's not even close.
It's 10 times better.
Yeah.
So, and then Wildflower, maybe when this podcast launches, it'll be out. I think it will. We should try to launch this on Friday. So,
okay. Yeah,
or Saturday.
guys,
Saturday, sorry.
We've told you what it tastes like. Crushed up candy. It's delicious. If the energy is not your thing, get the hydration. I'm telling you, especially during the summer, it's good. Hot summer day, you've been outside all day, you're feeling kind of lightheaded, kind of woozy. Probably just need some hydration.
And we've done something that
this is
really
better than just drinking water.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Both because it tastes better and what it does to your body.
And how we approached hydration too, it was like, okay, we didn't want to just come out with another hydration product. Every product that we release, we want it to be unique and super valuable in the space. And so we approached hydration with, okay, we're going to have the optimal ratio of electrolytes in there and make a good hydration formula, but we're also going to add in brain boosting ingredients. So choline, huperzine A are the two main ingredients in there. They help with memory and recall.
This is the part where he loses me as a science guy.
Super nerdy about it, but it's legit.
Somebody out there knows, and it matters.
It's from what I've seen, the first functional hydration drink with cognitive effects as well outside of that. So hydration is 90%. 90% of your cognition is hydration. So if you're dehydrated, your brain just doesn't function correctly. So we knew that was going to be kind of our second product line right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So, and we're doing something we've never done before with the launch. Well, kind of. We've done some contests before, but with every single wildflower breeze.
This is why we got to change up the formula. We're going to change up the formula for the next flavor.
Yeah, we'll do another trio of names.
Trilogy.
Yeah.
These are like sagas. They're epic.
But every Wildflower purchase gets you access to what we're calling the Wildcat Cup, and it's 3 different contests. So the first one we're bringing back the Wildcat mini game, which is a fan favorite. Those of you that aren't great at the mini game, because it's kind of it's kind of clunky and it's we're not a AAA studio by any means. We're doing a meme contest too. And
send us your memes.
Yeah.
Meme me, meme the flavor, meme glitch, meme Jacob, meme.
Don't meme me.
No, meme Jacob.
You can meme me.
Meme our social media.
Yeah.
Send your memes.
Yeah.
Good memes.
And then on launch day, we're doing a live stream after launch, Fortnite custom games, doing some crazy prizes. With the Wildcat Cup, we've got over 100 prizes up for grabs, PlayStation 5s, custom controllers, 4D mouse pads, a ton of other things. So a lot of incentive to buy this drop. It's going to sell out quick, so definitely check it out. And
you don't get any free flowers though.
No, you don't. But we might send some of the contest winners some of these flowers, but probably not.
Probably not. I wouldn't get your upset. Wow, so beautiful. Look what I did.
Kind of to transition to that, a lot of people want to know, how was Glitch started? What's the backstory? How did you get involved? What did all that look like? A lot of people don't know, and we'll get into this a little bit later in the podcast too, around Wildcat, the business mogul side of things. But
super business genius guy.
How did it all get started? Obviously, we can kind of collaborate on this, but from your perspective.
From my perspective, this is hard to even. I mean, it started with you, and you were making things happen before I even knew who you were. But your college basketball teammate was my longtime high school friend, and now another founder in Glitch. He had helped me move when I was in Tennessee. Yeah, he had helped me move. He came to visit just to hang out, but he also helped me move. And in that process, him and I, we would catch up, talk about life, whatnot. I talked about the YouTube thing. Like, things were going well. This was like, 2018? I think 2017, 2018, I think.
Yep.
Like, things are going really well with YouTube stuff. I'd been doing it for 7 years at that point, full time for like 5 years. And I just kind of realized and saw other people in the space doing it where, like, once you build up your brand, it's time to start, like, building up other brands alongside that brand. And it makes a lot of sense in my eyes of just, like, trying to branch out in different directions in the hopes that, if for whatever happens, YouTube doesn't, slows down or whatever, there's other brands that can kind of continue on outside of me and what I can do content wise. And right about that time, Zach had been talking to you, and I guess that's where you come in.
Yeah. So we had actually talked on the phone probably 3 years prior to that. Zach was telling me I was kind of a fan.
Yeah. My buddy Zach's like, hey, my friend Jacob, he's a fan of you. You mind talking to him on the phone?
He just calls him up.
Yeah. I was like, hi, Jacob. Thanks for watching my video.
Yeah. Which was crazy because he was like, do you know who Wildcat is? I was like, yeah, I do. I watch his videos. And he's one of the biggest gaming creators on the platform at the time. And I think he only had like a couple 100,000 subscribers at the time. But
way back then?
This was like 2014.
I hit 1 million subs in April of 2014.
So you started really blowing up that year.
From like basically when GTA came out.
Yeah. So we had a brief phone call, I remember, and then I've always been really entrepreneurial, and so at the end of my first business that I started, we ended up dissolving that, and then I was already looking to the next opportunity.
You're the drone guy, right?
I ran a drone inspection business through college. Shout out to my
we have an inside joke because when Jacob was doing the drone business, everyone would come up to him, hey, you're the drone guy.
All my family and friends.
That's what we do to Jacob, even though I've never seen him touch a drone.
I got my kid a drone for Christmas. Can you show him how to work
you're
it?
The drone guy.
Yeah. Didn't think I would hear that again for a while, but
I think it's funny.
Really big into health and fitness in college too, being a college athlete, really, really big into supplements. And so started looking into it, had the idea of like, okay, there's really only one big competitor in the space at the time, which was G Fuel. And I think like some other people had just launched. And I came across this patented ingredient called dynamine that just released. And I just ordered like basically the raw powder of it. And it looked like I was, selling drugs out of my dorm room, just weighing things on a crack scale and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't. It was white powder though, but it wasn't drugs. And yeah, tried dynamine. It was incredible. And then it just kind of all clicked from there. And I called up Zach, just like, hey, I've got this crazy idea. One, I'm a broke college kid about to graduate, had no money, was about to get married. And I was like, hey, Zach, I want you to be involved in this. Also, what are the chances that you can set up a meeting with Tyler? Because our thesis was if you got involved with a product that you truly loved and you were an owner of it and started promoting it, it would be super authentic. And if we made a good enough product, people would come back again to buy. And really cost, like we didn't even think about cost at the beginning at all, because it was like we just wanted to create the best product out there. And he said he had just helped you move to Nashville, and you had just talked to him about that. And then fast forward some time, we set up a pitch and then did a soft launch, and then Zach and I went full time and we rebranded, reformulated, got connected with the right people, and really full scale launch February 2021.
The soft launch in 2019?
Yeah, like
end of 2019, right?
Or mid 2019. Then we were out of stock for like 4 months.
And then we restocked like November-ish or whatever.
Restocked,
like
yeah, sold through our product like right
away. And
then
away. 2020 happened.
Yeah,
and spent that whole time kind of rebranding and reformulating.
I was working in corporate finance at the time, and everybody went remote, which was like the best thing to ever happen, because I basically worked on Glitch all day while I was on the other. I had 2 monitors set up, and one was Glitch and one was just all the other corporate job stuff that I was doing. And we finally went full time in that fall, and then launched full scale in February 2021, and went all out, and it was crazy right out of the gate.
Was it really February 2021?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's gone pretty crazy since then. I mean, it doesn't seem like that long.
Yeah,
only like 2 years.
We dealt with the worst supply chain crisis ever in 2021. So we were figuring all that out, and it was crazy. But yeah, that's basically the backstory, though. Yeah.
I feel like I can fill people in on kind of the dynamic of you and I, in terms of like, you are really the brains behind the operation with Glitch in terms of the product and the actual business model. I purely am just kind of creative and connecting to like the gaming audience and the gaming scene, I guess, and just kind of the networking side of things and the marketing side of things, I guess.
It was a great dynamic too, because you were super actively involved right out of the gate, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't
I was
like
very
a
motivated to like
brand deal,
branch out and do fun stuff, and this was a lot of fun. It was exciting and new, and I was learning a lot, and still learning a lot.
Yeah, you and I both, but Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a crazy ride, and we've got a lot of new stuff in the works. Yeah, let's take another sip of that.
Just like the sound.
So, on that note, I know you've told this story in one way or another on other podcasts, but one thing I wanted to get directly from you is talk about your origin story, how you started, and maybe highlight some things that other podcasts might have not heard, where it was just like a quick brief thing. But you were grinding early on. Like, a lot of people don't see the backstory of that, where you were working like crazy for a long time until you really even started making any type of money off of YouTube.
I mean, I joked with you guys, but it was literally because I had nothing else going on. I literally had nothing. I didn't really have too many friends. I didn't have much of a social life. I commuted to my college, which kind of disconnected me from a lot of like the partying college stuff. But yeah, essentially the background is I did like video marketing kind of stuff as like a mass media class in high school, and it was fun. That was like my favorite creative outlet I had ever experienced, was like making skits with my friends or like producing school news or like editing videos and stuff together. And then when I went to college, I went for engineering just because I was good at math and it was going to be easier for me to find a well-paying job in my area, middle of nowhere, Indiana. Just made sense, but I still missed that creative side of things, specifically the video making. And right around then, I had also found people on YouTube making videos about gaming, which is something I had done all my life. All the way back to like, I think the furthest back image there is that exists of me playing video games is me and my dad laying on our stomachs in like 1996 or something like that in our house with Mario playing on a TV and me holding a controller that's not plugged in. All the way back then, I mean, I'd played games my whole life. My dad played games growing up. And so it was just kind of a natural fit. I'm like, all right, let me figure out how these guys are making these videos about video games. Buy the equipment. I bought the worst equipment possible first. I bought this like thing called an Easy Cap. Do you know what an Easy Cap is?
I know, like early in the day,
bro, it's
cap
literally
cards
it's
and
literally
et
just a
cetera,
little stick with a USB that plugs in your computer and then like RCA cables that come out. It records in like 360p, like 5 FPS. It was awful. Absolute waste of money. Should not have bought it. I tried to be cheap and like, oh, let me just get something to get started. And I think I spent like $10 on that thing and it didn't even work. It was terrible. So then I found the Roxio Game Capture. Do you remember those ads?
Those are expensive.
Boom! Check me out! Roxio Game Cap. I still remember the ads. Those are the ads I played on YouTube. I bought that thing because it was close to, it was like 480p upscaled to 720. So it looked kind of HD-ish, but I couldn't afford the Hauppauge HD PVR that everyone used back then, which was like full 720p.
Wow.
Yeah. Super high pixels. 720p, but that thing was like $200, so I couldn't afford that. So I bought the Roxio Game Capture for like, I don't remember how much it was, $100, something like that. Made my first video, and then a little fella named Vanos Gaming leaves a comment on my first video saying, "Hey, great first video. I'm starting out too. We should play games sometime," or whatever. And he literally had started out on September 15th. You can look at his channel. His channel was created September 15th of 2011. Mine was created September 25th of 2011. I think even at that time when he commented on my video, I had more subscribers than him. I think I just had more friends in real life than I made subscribe. But
could be.
But yeah, and then I'm going to college, and I'm going to college full time. Like, that was my full thing, and I was commuting to college like 45 minutes. So yeah, there was a point where my schedule was like waking up at 7 a.m., driving 45 minutes to my 8 a.m. class, being on campus from 8 a.m. to like 2 p.m., taking 3 or 4 classes in between, a couple hours in between of just nothing, just chilling at the cafeteria or whatever. And during those chill times, I was watching YouTube videos most of the time. And then at 4 o'clock, I had to be another spot about 20 minutes away from my campus to go to work as a security officer until midnight. And then I would get home at midnight, and all my friends would be playing. So I would hop on and play with them until like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then try to get up and do it again the next day. And there was some times where I didn't have classes every single day. So like, I think it was like Wednesdays or something, I had no classes. So like on those days, I could really stay up super late and then wake up. But then like, I was still living at home with my parents, so my dad had chores and stuff for me to do because he was working a lot of hours. So
you grew up on a farm too.
Yeah, so I had to go do a bunch of yard work and take care of cows and chickens and yeah. But yeah, there was, when my classes started to get hard, like I had a physics class that took a lot of work, and like the professor let us do tests at home as a group, because he felt that tests were really where you actually do your learning. Like
Interesting.
all the studying and stuff before him is a lot of like memorization, but when you actually try to apply that to a test, he's like, that's really when you learn. So he let me, and like every test was a group thing that you could do at home on your own time. And so me and like 2 other guys would work all night on like these crazy physics problems that would take like hours to solve. I can't even, I'm way too stupid to do it now. I don't know how I ever did it back then. I definitely had their help, but yeah. So there were some times where I was getting up at 7 a.m., go to school until 2, go to work until midnight, and then come home and then spend the whole night working on this physics problem for the test the next day, and then go back, do that test, turn that in, do all the schoolwork again until like 2, go back to work 4 to midnight, and then come back home and play games. There was several. It was once or twice every 2 weeks I was staying up all night. Yeah, there was like.
And balancing editing and
I think there was several times where I'd stayed up for like 40 hours straight. Like pretty consistently once a month I would do that at least.
Do you remember the feeling when you first hit publish on your first video?
No, I don't remember that at all. I don't remember that at all. I don't even remember making the first video. You can go look it on my channel. I kind of remember making it, but I don't. You can listen to me talk in that video. I don't even think I knew what I was saying at the time. I just was excited to be speaking into a microphone and then putting in. Yeah,
Incredible.
No, I remember publishing some of my later videos though, because at that time I could also really only upload my videos while I was at campus because my internet at home was so bad.
I feel that.
It would take me like 7 hours to upload a video from home. And granted, these are 3-minute long videos that are like barely 720. So they were like 300 or 400 megabytes. They would take 7 hours to upload from home.
Oh my gosh.
So there were some times when I didn't have school, I would try to upload on that day. I would set the upload up before I left for work. And then I would check my phone while I'm at work on YouTube to see if it published. And then sometimes it wouldn't because like my internet went down or something midway through. And I'd be so pissed.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Crazy to think about.
Yeah. I was working off a laptop. I had the worst internet ever. It was...
I was
just doing it because it was fun.
What about the day when you first got fast internet? Because we're all 3 of us are from rural Indiana.
Yeah.
And none of us probably got internet faster than...
I never got fast internet until I left my parents, until I moved out.
Oh, wow.
That's why I moved out. Yeah.
That's crazy.
When I got fast internet was when I started going to college and I could upload from campus. And their fast internet was like 18 megabits per second or whatever. Like it was good. It was fast enough. But like I could never live stream because I can't do it on campus and I couldn't do it at home. So eventually it was like end of 2013, I decided to move out of my parents' house into a college, like it wasn't a dorm, it was like a college apartment essentially. It was housing apartments that were owned by the college. So I got my own apartment and it was pretty expensive at the time. It was like $800 a month or something like that for a 1-bedroom, but I didn't want anybody else staying with me because I wanted to be a nerd and record in my room on my own and not have other people listening to me. So that was like a huge jump for me to spend that much money a month because prior to that I had no expenses. And then finally, though, I had my own place with good internet. I could stream, could do all this stuff. So I started streaming zombies for like 2 hours at a time. I was so stoked on that. I would upload big, long videos. Yeah, that's when it got fun. But
then things really started to change for you. Because I know you had to convince your dad of some stuff early on, and I love this story.
Yeah, that's when I had to convince him to.
I love hearing his side of it too.
The security job I had. Yeah. The security job I had, my dad had got me. My dad he's worked in the automotive industry basically his whole life for like 25 years at this point.
Shout out Rich.
Yeah, shout out Rich. Wild dad.
Yep.
But he got me a job at the General Motors plant in Fort Wayne where they build trucks. So they have a security division there. They don't work for GM. It's a contracted security company that does security work there. And so he got me a job where I basically sat at the front desk. And during shift change, when 1,000, 2,000 employees are coming in and 2,000 employees are leaving, I sit at the front desk and
doing pat downs.
Somehow save the world. Yeah, somehow stop something bad from happening. I was
anti-terrorist division.
I was like expected to like not let people leave with like parts in their lunchbox or like let people bring in stuff they're not supposed to. They went through I think they went through metal detectors and stuff like that. But ultimately, I just kind of sat there and just watched. And then like people would come up to my desk and sign in like certain contractors and stuff. But that was only during shift change. The other like 6 hours that I was there, so it'd be like 1 hour of the shift leaving and then 1 hour of the new shift coming in. Basically, is kind of how it worked. The other 6 hours I sat there doing nothing. I literally just watched YouTube videos and did homework. So like it was the best job ever for like a college kid. Yeah. And especially my circumstance in particular.
Then you started making enough money to potentially quit your part-time
Yeah.
job, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so that security job was making like $400 or $500 a month or whatever, which was just enough to like pay for my gas and whatnot, going to school and some other things. But it wasn't anything crazy. And then the YouTube thing started to make $100, $200 a month or whatever. And granted, I was doing that with like the full-time school schedule, then this 24 hours a week part-time security schedule. And then what little bit of time I had left, call it maybe another 12 hours a week.
Yeah.
Just in recording for the YouTube stuff. I would post those videos and they would make a couple $100 or whatever a month. So I was like, okay, if I quit this part-time job, take all that time and apply it to YouTube, I should be able to make more money than that part-time job was making me. And I pitched this idea to my dad, and he was not exactly stoked on it. He was like, I got you that job. You got 1 month. Go try it out. If it doesn't work, you're going right back and begging for your job back. And I was like, okay. I'm like, it's going to work. I swear. So I quit that job. And then the first month I do YouTube, quote, full-time, really part-time, I made like $700. So I was like, all right, there you go. I did it. 1 month, I made more. And then the next month, it was like $1,000 and like $1,200. It just kind of kept going, slowly snowballing. And so I was like, all right, never going back to there. And then, and then there were some fights at home with my dad because he would come home from work after working like a 10, 12-hour shift and see me in the basement playing video games, screaming at my computer, being an idiot. And he's like, I told you to go do this outside or whatever, chore or whatever. And I'll be like, Dad, I'm working. He would get so mad. He would get so pissed. Yeah. So there was a lot of back and forth and arguing with my dad over all that. But eventually it started making enough money where I went and moved out of the house, and then a lot of that animosity stopped. You'd be amazed at how much better you get along with your parents when you don't live with under their roof anymore.
Yeah.
It's great, yeah.
Great advice for young people.
Assuming you're not a complete screw-up once you move.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then...
I'm dying over here.
Uh-oh. It's not the wildflower.
No, it's not. It's
Allergies.
not enough wildflower.
The allergy pit here in Nashville.
Yeah.
And then you gave him the big pitch.
The next hurdle, yeah. So I keep doing YouTube while I'm still going to school. School's not going well. YouTube is going great. School's not going well.
What were grades looking like?
So the school I went to was a small state school in Indiana, and I had gotten a scholarship. Just through academics in high school and applying for scholarships, I got what was called like the Chancellor Scholarship. It paid half my tuition.
Wow.
As long as I kept my GPA above like a 3.8. And I was at a 3.9. I was chilling for like the first year. Then the second year comes around, YouTube starts doing well. Grades start slipping. I stop paying attention in class. I'm in class editing, or I'm in class like watching someone play a game or whatever, learning, whatever. Or I'm on Twitter. Twitter was such a huge waste of time. But
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But the grades start slipping. And in the span of like 9 months, I went from my 3.9 GPA to academic probation, which is like below a 2 GPA. Like I had failed like 2 or 3 classes. And I was like, okay, clearly I'm kind of giving half my effort here to both things, both YouTube and the school. And I was like, one of them I need to commit to. And of course, your parent is going to say, well, you need to commit to school. Finish it now. And then you have your degree, and you can always have that to fall back on.
How long did you have left at that time?
So much, like 2.5 years.
Oh, yeah, way too
Because
much.
I had flip-flopped on my major, so I really only had enough credits that were like basic prerequisites that everyone had to have, and then a couple prerequisites for, at the time now, computer science is what I had moved into, so like programming. So I would have had at least 2.5 more years. So I was like, nah, I'm going to do the YouTube thing because this is super sick and going very well. So that was the next pitch to my dad, was quitting school. He did not like it. He basically told me no. And I basically said, well, I don't live here no more, so I'm going to quit. And then I quit. And then I never looked back. That was like the best decision ever, because then it was full-time YouTube. That's all I had to think about. And this was like 2015. End of 2015.
Yeah. Major tipping point at that point in your career. I mean, one might say...
End of 2015? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, end of 2015. So that was the end of the first semester of my 3rd year of college.
I didn't realize it was that late, because you were doing very well on YouTube in 2014, because you hit 1 million subscribers.
Why does that math seem wrong? I don't remember. I think that's definitely when it was, but I'm trying to think, was it my 4th year of college? What was I doing?
But you didn't quit until like YouTube was showing some major success.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of what I was actually doing. So 2011, the fall of 2011 is when I started college. So you have fall of 2011, then fall of 2012 is my second year. Fall of 2013 is my third year. There's no way I was in my fifth year. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, if you were failing out of classes, maybe they
Yeah,
just
I
kept
don't
stretching
know.
it
I just
out.
had to get the hell out of there, man. It worked.
Amazing. So one thing that not a lot of people know, they see the entertaining content and your brand from the outside, but they don't realize that you're involved in a lot of businesses outside of YouTube. And
I mean, Glitch is the obvious one.
yeah.
But
what else do you have going on? There's a lot at this point.
I don't even know them all. Glitch is obviously the main one.
Yeah.
4D is another main one. Critero, if people aren't familiar with Critero.
Which
Critero Capital. So
Yep.
the idea is, like a wealth management, financial planning firm, specifically catering towards creators.
Yep.
Because creators are really good at making a lot of money and not very good at knowing how to use it.
Yep.
So they need help. I needed help too.
Launched that
Yeah.
a few years ago.
Did through that. We also have the Critero Fund, which is like an investment fund. I'm invested in a couple of like smaller games that I haven't really talked about yet because they haven't kind of been at the point where they're ready to be promoted.
Yep.
I don't know what else. I feel like I'm missing something.
Maybe your career as a voice actor.
Alpha Beta's true. I'm
Yeah.
involved in that in Bush House Studios, which is our company that me, Brian, Marcel, and Evan made to part own Alpha Beta's the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a massive undertaking. A lot of people don't realize
That
what
was
all
a
went
ton of
into
work.
that.
And
You
it's
told me
still-
about that a while ago.
Yeah,
and it
there's
took forever.
still a lot going on. Yeah, we have calls like weekly over that lasts like an hour each, and it's a lot of fun, and then some of it's really not a lot of fun. Like sometimes the call is like, "What color do you want for this spaceship?" And I'm like, "I don't care about the spaceship. I just want like the jokes to be funny." So, but it's super fun. But yeah, that whole process, learning all that was a lot of work. I don't know. I don't think there's anything else.
Maybe more in the future.
I mean, there's just personal stuff.
Yeah.
Too, just trying to be smart with my money and whatnot. But I think business wise, it's those main ones.
Some real estate investing as well.
Yeah. Trying to.
Yeah. What advice would you give other creators listening to this that are like, okay, I have my brand, I have my channel, I stream, I make money off YouTube and streaming and maybe some brand deals, but I want to get involved in business outside of YouTube?
Outside of YouTube. Well, I mean,
leveraging my platform.
Yeah. I mean, try to find either a partner or try to find a way to make your own product, business, service, whatever that makes sense with your content and your audience. Like Danny Duncan is like the best at this, basically. Yeah. Like his merch is incredible. He does merch that's not really branded around him. It's just like funny stuff that his audience and demographic really finds funny and wants to buy his merch, and then it end up getting him in like Zoomies and Journeys and all this stuff.
I saw something he's doing like
now
he's done 150 million or something off of his brand outside of
and then
his channel.
Now he has like he had like a chicken joint or whatever.
Yep.
I think Big Dick's Chicken. That's what he called it. Then he had Danny's Cream Pies, the ice cream. He has some other.
He's involved with Good Sport, which is the
they make
yard
slam
game.
ball or whatever. Yeah,
slam ball. Yep.
Obviously, Mr. Beast with his Feastables and stuff like that. I mean, you don't want to just try to copy these, but you know your audience and what they would like, and it's just about trying to find some way to find some product or something that you think would resonate well with your audience, trying to build it out and make it really cool, make it good. You don't just want to cash grab and try to like, hey, buy this thing that sucks, but because I'm promoting it, you'll buy it. Really, truly, you want to make something that brings people value. So
that's when we launched Glitch. It took a lot longer than what we thought, but we ultimately wanted to make the best product possible.
Yeah.
And product is the best form of marketing in my opinion. Obviously, if you have the audience and the distribution. I mean, we were talking about, our dynamic with Glitch was kind of beyond its time. That was before Mr. Beast really started his brands around him, and like creator-owned brands just kind of blew up, which is a major cheat code if the product market fit is right.
I'm trying to think of who all really was doing it back then. There's people that were obviously, but I just I can't think of like.
Yeah, nobody really off the top of my head either that early.
No.
Which is crazy to think about because there's a lot of creator-owned brands now. Like Colin and Samir feature a lot of them on their podcast, and it's crazy to think about how that's evolved throughout the last few years, especially with ad costs rising and all the crazy stuff, which we won't get into. But so 10 years on YouTube, 10 plus years, 11 years maybe at this point. No, more than that.
Coming up on 12.
Coming up on 12 years.
12 in September. And like coming up on 10 of doing it as my job, and coming up on 8 doing it full time. Like
That's
as
crazy.
my only thing.
There's not a lot of creators that have lasted that long.
No, in my
my
time doing it, I've seen creators go from nothing to bigger than me to dead, like within like I've seen that happen multiple times.
Why do you think that is?
Well, in some cases it was early on. People had kind of found, so like an example. I'm not trying to like crap on this person or anything.
Sure.
Do you know who Minnesota Burns is? You ever heard of him?
No.
Back in like the Call of Duty days of like 2011, 2012, 2013, he did like trolling content, and like I don't remember the content specifically, but he just messed with people a lot in the game, right? And that's super entertaining. But he did it in a way that was kind of niche and unique, and he went from someone no one had really heard about to like way bigger than me, like triple my subscribers at one point, like 2012 or 2013. But because it was so niche and that's kind of all he had was just basically being a dick in video games, that like after a while, people kind of get the shtick and kind of move on, or other people would go and do it better. And so that dude took off, and then like, I mean, he's like not around at all anymore. And that happened within the span of like 3 or 4 years. There's tons more examples, none that I can really think of, and I'm not trying to like crap on any of these people.
Ton of Fortnite creators.
Yeah, Fortnite's a big one. Yeah, Fortnite's a big one. There's tons of people that blew up on Fortnite, and now you don't really hear from them as much, or they're just not as big as they were.
Yeah.
Which, it's just hard when you blow up on a specific game.
Yeah.
And are known for a certain game, especially a game as unique as Fortnite, where nothing else plays the same as Fortnite. A lot of the skills can transfer to other games, but nothing will be exactly the same. So, yeah.
One might argue that's why good financial planning, financial literacy around that. A lot of young people, young creators that blow up, make a ton of money, and they start blowing it on
I mean,
things
it's the
that are
same
not assets. You know?
It's the same concept as like athletes or whatever that like make it into the league, right? Like you're young and your body's working perfectly, you make it into the league, you think you're going to be making that money forever, but one injury all of a sudden cuts your career in half or whatever, or something happens, whatever happens, you fall off, whatever. It's not always going to be that way. So you can't like plan on like, oh, I made this much this year, that's how it's going to always be. You have to take advantage. And I was really careful about this early on of like not over leveraging my spending in terms of like, okay, just because I'm making this much money, like I really should be patient on buying the car that I want, or like buying the house that I want, or whatever. And so I was super careful about that the whole way, because I had also seen creators do that.
Yeah.
Again, not to crap on people, but do you know who Wings of Redemption is?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wings did that back in the day. He was having some good months. He went out and bought him a brand new truck. And then a year later, his channel's not doing so good. Truck has to go bye-bye. And, he still has to pay for that. He's still on the hook for the loan.
Now he's back.
Now he's back in a big way. Wings is up big right now. I'm big on Wings. I'm bullish on Wings.
Bullish on Wings. Mm-hmm. To wrap that up, I think, 11 going on 12 years, something that's, a topic that I'm sure that you've talked to other creators about, but maybe not publicly, is just burnout. How do you deal with that? How do you think about that? You've lasted so long on YouTube. There's obviously a method to the madness, and especially around burnout.
It's just, you can't, if all you're doing this is just for the money and just as a job and just because you just want to grow because you want to make a bunch of money or you want to grow a business or whatever, then burnout's going to affect you way worse because you're not truly in it because you love it. I started this because it was the most fun thing I'd ever done creatively, and it was like the most fulfilling thing. I kept doing it for those reasons. Obviously, the money was great, and that's an amazing bonus, and it's truly changed my life in every way. But at the end of the day, I do this because I love it, and it's the only thing I've ever been like really good at, and what truly fulfills me. And I've kind of just set my channel up in a way where I can pivot to whatever direction I want. I can do whatever I want. I can play whatever games I want. I can go vlog if I want. I can do a podcast if I want. And for the most part, I'm going to have an audience that wants to at least watch and listen or whatever. And I'm thankful for that. I don't know why. I guess it's just because I focused on my personality and my chemistry with the people I have around me. And with that chemistry, like, people kind of watch us do anything. But now is the hardest time I've ever had in terms of not really burnout, but just figuring out where to go directionally with YouTube. But the big thing is just, you have to just, if you're not having fun, you got to switch it up. Try new things. Don't be afraid to switch things up. If you truly have people that like you for you, they're going to follow you and at least give it a shot. But yeah. Yeah.
No, that's really good advice. I think very similar in business too. Like I can relate to a lot of that because there's a lot of different businesses that I could have started or, you know, pursued. And at the end of the day, it's, that's when we fell back onto the product with Glitch. It was like, we want to make the best product possible. And I don't know, entrepreneurship is a game, I think. And whether you're a creator or you're, you know, running a e-commerce brand, it's a lot of similarities in that point.
Yeah.
So, kind of transition on that note from a creativity standpoint. Where do you garner inspiration for creativity? How do you think about creativity? Because 11 years of content, there's been a lot of different ideas probably that have gone through your head.
I mean, I've been around a long time, and I don't think I've really done anything super original. Like, I don't think originality is like super important in terms of the actual, like, not the content, but just the concepts, I guess, of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, people were doing funny video game stuff before me and my friends started to do it. It's just, we just had such a chemistry and a dynamic that stood out above others. But at the end of the day, I just take inspiration from things that I enjoy watching, things I enjoy doing, things I enjoy creating. So like, cars are a big part of my life. I'm big into cars. So like, that's starting to creep into like some of the vlog IRL stuff I'm doing. I'm trying to incorporate some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I take inspiration from other creators that create things that I like, and doing it in a way that's not copying, but in a way that's like, okay, what about this do I like? What about this can I do in my own way that is similar, but, you know, not obviously just straight up copying people, and kind of do it in my own way.
I think that's great advice for anyone, whether you want to be a creator or you want to go into business.
Yeah. Now, I think someone like Mr. Beast would probably tell you that's never going to make you the biggest YouTuber on the platform.
Sure.
But that doesn't have to be everyone's aspirations. It wasn't mine when I started. My goal was like 500 subscribers, I think, was my goal when I started. I thought if I could make a video whenever I wanted that 500 people would watch, I thought that was insane.
That's
and
crazy.
obviously you've come a long way since then, but like, yeah, your aspirations don't have to be like the next game-changing, innovative YouTuber guy. You can just do something you have fun with that resonates with an audience that thinks that what you do specifically is unique because of who you are or how you approach it.
Yeah. I think a lot of, if any creators are watching this that want to get into, you know, brands outside of YouTube, like when we started Glitch, the supplement space is one of the most crowded markets in the world.
There's no YouTuber that's going to like invent some crazy, like, you're a YouTuber, you're not an inventor, you're not going to come up with some crazy new product. So yeah, you don't have to like reinvent the wheel or come up with something crazy. Just do something
gotta
you
make
see
it better.
and do it better. Yeah.
Yeah. More valuable, more
do it better,
unique.
more interesting, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at these beautiful labels. See? Isn't that nice?
Yeah. I mean, we kind of took the drop structure of, you know, hype clothing brands and tried to bridge it to Glitch, which is really not typical of the industry at all. But yeah, if you're a creator watching this that want to start a brand, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Look at your audience, think of something that you like and enjoy, and you just got to make it a little bit better, more unique.
I think that also kind of goes back to the burnout question too, of just like I said, like the internet these days like has you believe that you have to like do something crazy to become the best, the biggest creator, or like come up with the newest, craziest thing that's going to go super viral. It's like, not really. You kind of just need to do something that you enjoy, that resonates with an audience that's fun. Yeah. So
great advice. So on the note of, you know, burnout, I think there's a lot of good advice that you have around balancing kind of personal life, relationships, and success as a creator. Anything come to mind there when you think about those things?
In the beginning, I had a really unhealthy balance with all those things, which I think can be a good thing.
Yeah.
Not if you do it permanently, but like when I was starting out doing this, there was no thought of my health because I was 19, 20 years old. I didn't go to the gym. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't doing any of that. I was barely sleeping. Like, I didn't care about any of that. I wouldn't say that that's good advice, but if you really want to get after something, there has to be some corners cut in some of these areas. So like early on, I had basically no regard for my health, no real personal relationships. I didn't have any girlfriend, didn't have any girls I was talking to, didn't really have any personal friends. I had acquaintances I would see like at school or at work or whatever and say hi to or whatever. But my friends were the guys I was playing video games with afterwards.
Or your high school friends. Yeah.
But now, years and years later, and to like avoid burnout, those other things are very important. It's like I have back issues now because I spent a decade sitting in a chair playing video games and editing videos for hours and hours on end without going to do any kind of physical activity outside of playing basketball once a week or whatever, or like I never went to the gym. Now I'm going to the gym. Personal relationships, I really spend a lot of time on now. I'm not afraid to like step away and not do work to go out to eat with some friends or go to an event with some friends or spend time with my fiance Kelly or just chill at home and just be around my dogs and Kelly or whatever.
Yeah.
I find all that stuff super important now.
And I think
so it's a balance.
Yeah. I think on the note of, you know, the season of when you're just getting started and really starting to ride the wave, like there's sacrifices everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like I haven't really taken a vacation in probably almost 3 years, but we're at the point now where like we've got a team now, which shout out Houston and Scott behind the scenes.
And Zach too. He's not here. He's on one of those vacations right now.
Yeah, Zach's on a vacation right now. Yeah. Which I was kind of jealous of. He's out in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And but there's a season where like you have to make sacrifices and you just it's about prioritizing. Like strategy in general, whether it's in content or in business, like strategy is just the prioritization of what matters and ultimately working on the right things. And there are times where, you know, you got to find your limit. And there's what's the creator Laser Beam that like was during the Fortnite craze, like he was
going crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
There's so many creators like that now that just they were doing crazy.
He was like editing all of his own videos too.
I don't know if he still does or not, but yeah, he was.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
And but he would. I don't remember how often he uploaded, but it was a good bit. But it was like every time there was anything new in the game, he would have a video out the next day. So like they added like some balloons or something to Fortnite. He would try to win a game floating in the air with a balloon the whole time. Spend hours doing that, and then spend hours the next day editing it so he could have it up as quick as possible. Because that was super important back then too. Like if something new happened in Fortnite, everyone in the world was playing it. You better try to be one of the first to do whatever it is. But
so another thing on that note is the concept of humility and generosity, especially being a creator with a lot of, you know, reach and one might say fame that you have, and a lot of people don't
so famous,
a lot of people don't see this behind the scenes. Tyler's one of probably the most generous person that I know. Like, and he's not the YouTuber that like, you know, buys something for some other than maybe Zach's Tahoe, but
but I smashed his car, so I feel like it was fair trade.
But there's plenty of other things that I know behind the scenes that he's done for people that you would never see on camera or never realize it. But the level of humility, I think that's why, like, obviously, like our friendship has really worked well, but as business partners too, like that's when we talk about hard conversations with Glitch or other businesses, like it's always a level of like, how do we help each other win? And it's never like, you know, I'm just trying to get mine or whatever. And humility coming into those conversations, knowing that you might not be right. And I don't know, it's just something I've noticed. And I think on the flip side, and maybe that has to do with some of the creators that kind of come and go, is maybe their head's not on straight when it comes to, you know, being humble and knowing that, you know, they don't want to take it for granted. I don't know. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of
like how do you balance knowing that you've got more subscribers in the city of Chicago, but also, you know, being a humble and generous guy?
I don't know. I just never really thought of it that way. Like, obviously, if I sit down and think about like how many people watch my stuff or have, like, I almost have 3 billion views. Like, that's insane.
That's absurd.
But I don't really let that number like super sink in. And at the end of the day, like, I'm just doing something that's fun and I would do regardless of how many people. Now, granted, I might not do it as often because I wouldn't be able to financially or whatever. I'd have to actually have a job.
Sure.
But I would be doing this anyway. Like, this is for fun. And I guess part of it is just kind of realizing like it did take a lot of hard work to get to this point. But at the end of the day, like, I got very lucky and very fortunate in like meeting the people that I met, not just like Vanos, obviously, but like that core group of friends that we had made. Like that chemistry was super, super special, and something that hard work can't produce that. Yeah, in my opinion.
Timing was interesting too.
Timing. You have to be there in order for the timing to line up. You know, if you're not putting in any work, but I don't know. And then also like seeing like how hard my dad works. And knowing like my dad's 50 years old, still going to work like 10, 12 hours a day right now because he's trying
workhorse.
He's trying super hard to retire in the next like 5 years. So he's basically working 2 jobs at the moment. And just seeing like how hard he has worked throughout my childhood continually now, and then me being the dumb idiot son who just starts making video game videos or whatever. And, you know, I did, you know, I've done super well financially that, I don't know. I just kind of, there's no reason to be like super egotistical about it, I guess. I don't know. Like, obviously you can feel good about it and feel proud of what you've accomplished, but at the end of the day, like, I'm just trying to make videos that I find entertaining and that people want to watch.
Yeah. It's a great take.
Yeah.
How much do you think, you know, growing up, seeing your dad work so hard had a, you know, rubbed off on you in the right way?
I mean, good and bad. Good, obviously, in that, like, having that person there that works super, super hard and seeing how hard he cared about me, you know, my family in general, and wanting a better life. Because when I was born, my parents lived in a trailer park in Indiana, like in the middle of nowhere, like the cheapest existence you can possibly think of. Basically, I think the trailer cost like a couple $1,000s or something at the time. Like that's where I was born. I don't remember that. They moved out after a couple years or whatever. But I think my dad was like working on a duck farm or something, making like minimum wage. I don't even know what it was back then. And then seeing my dad worked in foundries, like factories where they were like pouring molten steel to make engine blocks and stuff. I don't like.
Sheesh.
He would come home literally covered in like black soot after working for like 10, 12 hours. I don't know. Just seeing that obviously rubs off on you, both in that like that's incredible, and that I'm very fortunate that I have a parent that worked that hard for me and for you know, a better life. But also like I don't want to do that.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to have to do that. So being able to like be thankful that I get to do what I do and make a living and not have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a balance, I guess.
I can relate a lot to that too, because I mean the way your parents set you up for success, and you know, thinking about the humble beginnings, and like my dad was early on, like in his early 20s, he was basically homeless. Like he was eating out of like dumpsters, and like and then, you know, the life that I have now growing up, like I didn't really have to, you know, work a job in high school or college, and we got to play sports, and just like the investment that your parents make into you long term is, we probably should think about it more.
Yeah.
Know?
Basically my parents were like the age I was when I started my YouTube channel when I was born. So like,
wow,
a recipe for disaster most of the time.
Yeah.
Being like 18, 19 with a child out on your own.
Crazy.
So yeah, so I try to really like be supportive of my parents, because I there's no way I would be able to do.
Yeah, they're
like,
awesome.
I wouldn't say they were like broke growing up or whatever, but I mean things were tight, and I never felt that in terms of like what I had or what I was able to do. Like I was always able to play the sports I wanted. I didn't get every toy I wanted, but like there was always something cool to look forward to on my birthday or Christmas or whatever, or like, you know, I got a car, gas money, stuff like that.
Right. So kind of the last two things on the creator side of things. One, the nasty word that you probably heard called networking, and the pros and cons of that in the creator space. And then kind of on that note too, just kind of for people that are listening that have some aspirations to do content as a career, you know, maybe some tips and tricks for those people. You probably get that a lot. I know you get it in public when we're sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
What do you have to say to my son Jimmy that wants to start a YouTube channel?
I tell him to give up. That's what I tell him.
It's hard.
Don't even try. Yeah, no. Yeah. No, I mean the networking. I don't even think of it as networking, which I mean that's kind of what you were saying. But how do
you network as a creator?
I just look around the space at people that are doing things that I think are cool, or that I think are interesting, or people that I think are funny, regardless of their size or whatever, and I just try to make the connection.
Yeah.
And I try to do it in a genuine way. You know, I don't try to force anything. You know, if I'm interested in talking to this person has no interest in me, that's not my responsibility to make that person want to be like, I guess it is. It's my responsibility to do something that, you know, piques that person's interest. There's just some people that mesh and some people that don't. I don't try to force anything, and I just try to make it natural. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Well, you've gotten connected to some pretty cool people here in the Nashville area.
I mean, I got connected with some of the biggest people on YouTube back in the day. So like not growing up, but like when I was starting out on YouTube, like Sark and CNanners and Hutch and whatnot were like the big guys on Machinima, and they were doing like the coolest show in gaming and whatnot. And I remember watching Sark back on G4 TV and XPlay way back in the day, like 2007, 2008.
Wow.
And now that's someone that I could call him up on my phone and he would answer right now. I don't remember exactly how those connections came through, but for the most part, most cool networking experiences or connections that I made have been because the person that I'm trying to connect with is doing something cool that I'm interested in, and that person thinks that whatever I'm doing is cool or interesting. If you can do that in a genuine way, that's really, that's kind of hard. It's kind of vague and hard to like understand and really like.
It seems like most of your connections kind of just happened organically.
Yeah, which is why it's kind of hard for me to explain.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I never try to force anything, I guess, is the main thing. It's just you find someone interesting and hopefully they find you interesting, and somewhere down the line your paths cross.
Yep. So personal passions outside of content. A lot of people don't see that side of you. What? Obviously cars.
Cars are a big one. I post that a lot on my Instagram, and I'm kind of incorporating it into vlogs. Outdoor stuff, in terms of like riding 4-wheelers and all that. That's been a part of my channel too, here and there. But like that's a big, like that's one thing that was just naturally good at. I started doing that when I was like 6 years old. My dad got me my first 4-wheeler. Man, I don't know. Cars and that are a big one, but I'm very like, I definitely have undiagnosed ADHD, and so I bounce around. I hyperfixate on things for a few months at a time. I don't know. I just like spending time with good people and doing things that I find interesting. Yeah, but
it's a good way to put it. So maybe another personal question. What do you think your biggest failure was, and what did you learn from it? I know you love these kind of questions.
Well, I don't think about this stuff, so like it's hard for me to like think of it now.
Maybe as a creator, like.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, if me and my friends would have made a Minecraft server back in like 2014 or 15, bro, that's not really a failure. More of just something looking back on it now was a no-brainer to do. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't feel like I've really failed in too many aspects. It's more of like micro failures here and there that now in the grand scheme of things, I don't even notice or don't even think about. But at the time maybe felt like a big deal.
That's what probably really kind of catapulted your growth too. Cause you get instant feedback on, the video and what you could do better. And you're watching so many different videos.
I would
taking
say
a lot of input.
The recent one that is kind of a failure in a sense because we didn't accomplish our main goal was alpha betas. Like we made an awesome show that I was super, super proud of, but our goal was make the pilot and then sell the pilot to a network to get picked up for more episodes. Like sell it to Netflix, sell it to Amazon, sell it to Fox, sell it to whoever would buy it and buy a season so we could make more. And we shopped it around and it just never, it just never went through. I mean, Hollywood is just so different. Like traditional media is so different from YouTube. And YouTube, just if it's good, if it's good and there's an audience, someone's gonna want to put money towards it. In traditional, they have like, it's so corporate. So like I think with like Amazon or whatever, basically what we were told was, we like your show, but we feel like we have that demographic covered, so our budget will not be going there.
Interesting.
So like if they feel like our show caters to 18 to 30-year-olds or whatever, and they feel like they have that demographic covered, they're not gonna ever buy your show because they feel like they need to go, they need to put some dating show on or whatever to pick up the 40-year-old moms who sit at home all day something, Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's talk about AI. Hot take.
I don't have any strict opinions really, but I was able to do some sick Photoshop with it.
You made some money off AI already.
Yeah, I made some money off AI already. Listen, I don't want to hurt the feelings of any artists. Okay. I have a lot of artists that I care about a lot. I use a lot for my stuff. My thumbnail artist, Kiori, like my main one, she's incredible.
She's awesome.
She does like the most cartoony ones on my channel, but I've worked with tons of other artists about a ton of different things. And I always feel that actual artists are going to prevail over AI. Like, I don't know if are you familiar with Kwebbelkop?
Am I familiar with Kwebbelkop?
Yeah, you know him? We love Kwebbelkop.
Did you go to Kwebbelkon this year? No?
I'm not going to Kwebbelkon. But if I did go to Kwebbelkon, I bet Kwebbelkop was there talking about how he thinks AI creators are going to take over, which I just strongly disagree. Maybe for kids, maybe.
Will you be able to tell the difference, though, in the future?
That's, I guess maybe that's a point I hadn't considered, but I think so.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe if you can't tell the difference, they're just not going to be as likable. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that an AI is going to be able to simulate a genuine person being genuine and you connecting with someone because of you really feel their. I don't know. I feel like an AI personality is going to be very like morph, like they're going to snake around different personalities. If that makes sense.
It's
You
too
know what
bland.
I mean?
Yeah.
Not even too bland. More of just like an AI creator this year compared to the next year, they're going to be like a different person almost because they like probably will morph their AI personality to be more fitting of whatever's
the best content.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's hard to explain.
Yeah, it'll morph to
I
that.
feel like it's going to be very snaky.
And
I don't know.
No real community built.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just I just think AI is never going to touch what genuine human interaction is like or genuine human art. But I do think AI is going to be very useful in some aspects of creation.
Yeah.
Video editing.
Brainstorming. It's
that AI
huge
Photoshop thing I messed around with. Like, I'm not going to like not use artists anymore and use AI Photoshop, but like it made me good at Photoshop. If I really wanted to be, I could actually Photoshop like some really good stuff and it looks good.
Yeah. Especially the simple stuff.
Like basically I could go like this and put it on Photoshop and I could put a platter of hot dogs right there. Yep.
We're going to frame that out and do that for the thumbnail of this.
Which beforehand I wouldn't be able to do that very well on. Like basically it accelerated how well I was able to use something like Photoshop. Like that kind of stuff. That's really my only experience with me personally using AI. I've used like the chat bots or whatever, like ChatGPT. I basically just look at that as like an accelerated like Google search, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know there's more applications to it than that, but
totally.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Twitter versus Threads.
Again, no real opinion. I don't have Threads. I'm not getting on Threads.
Wow.
Twitter is the worst social media of all of them. I don't want a second Twitter at all. No need.
Record-breaking engagement on Twitter, week over week, I think. Why do you think it's growing right now?
What, Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh, because I don't know. It's a cesspool.
Yeah.
It's the For You page that Elon has concocted. The algorithm is accelerating and showing people the worst things that they don't want to see and the things they do want to see and engagement tweets, and I hate Twitter. Well, I love Twitter now because I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
I just go on and kind of shitpost and then move on. But yeah, I don't know. I just say outlandish stuff on Twitter now and then just walk away from it. Yeah. I don't really.
Well,
it's not fun to have an opinion on Twitter about anything. Literally anything. If I tweeted about AI, no matter what I say, I would have a million people upset.
Yeah. You'd probably get the best engagement.
You literally can't have an opinion on anything
Yeah.
without your comments turning into a cesspool, and it's not fun.
Now that's the Wild West of free speech. You're not gonna get a.
Well, it's free speech. You can say whatever you want, but you're gonna get a million. You know, it's just.
Yeah.
So what I try to do now is if there's a topic that's heavily debated or popular at the moment, I try to just think of a joke that runs right in the middle. And pisses off both sides. That's kind of, and then I post my tweet. That's my 2 cents on whatever the current thing is that's being discussed.
Yeah.
Kind of equally jabs at both sides, maybe makes both sides laugh a little bit, and then on to the next thing. So like whether it's AI or whatever, like.
Yeah, we got a little bit in trouble there on Twitter replying to your thumbnail request with a goofy AI.
That's what you get. That's what you get. Yeah. You tried to tweet. Should have tweeted.
Well, joke's on them because it got a ton of engagement.
As it does.
Yeah, it does.
But no, I don't have Threads. I don't plan on getting Threads because when I looked on Twitter at people getting Threads, it's all the people on Twitter that I already don't really want to see.
Yeah.
I'm like, I already see you here and I don't really like it. I don't want to go over there and see it again. That's the other thing. Is like people already use Twitter. It's already like a thing that they use. What are you going to do? Like think of a thought, tweet it, and then be like, yeah, Threads needs this too. And post it like.
It's just double.
There's never going to be a thought that goes on Threads instead of Twitter or vice versa.
No.
It's the same thought that wants to be put on a social media. So at that point, it's just you're choosing one, and people are just going to choose Twitter because it's already it's already established. I use Twitter like a news source at this point. You know, breaking news that happens in whatever industries I'm interested in pops up on Twitter. Yeah, whether it's crazy stuff in the gaming scene, crazy stuff just in the world, I see it on Twitter first almost every time.
Do you ever worry about getting canceled? How do you feel about cancel culture as a creator? Because that's like.
No, not really. No. Yeah. I mean, I've I worry about being censored too much to avoid being canceled. But I think that like that kind of backlash has kind of happened already.
Yeah.
And that pushback is already there, where it was like, it wasn't a thing, and then all of a sudden it was, everyone's getting canceled. You can't say anything. Even if you said things 5 years ago, you're in trouble for it now. You better apologize for it or whatever. Like, that went super hard. And a lot of people kind of like either ignored it, kind of like how me and my friends did, pretty much.
Yep.
Like, whatever. Or they really like fell into it, started apologizing, and then that's when they got you.
Oh, yeah.
Once you start apologizing for stuff, they can make you apologize for anything at that point. You can, no matter what you do, you're never going to live a perfect life, so all these people are always going to have something to be mad at you for. But now it's kind of pushed back the other way of like, people are so over it.
Yeah.
Like, if I make a joke that I think is funny and enough people laugh at it, but for whatever reason it offends someone, doesn't matter. At that point, there's enough pushback now of like, okay, you're not going to cancel. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Either you like that person or you don't. It's not up to you to like try to destroy their career. Now, I do think in terms of like businesses and stuff, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Because sales and whatnot can be directly affected, as we've seen.
Yeah,
that aspect of it's scary.
Early on, we retweeted a post of a guy making a line of glitch on the table.
Yeah.
And you had to click the image to see it because it was hidden on the crop. I remember getting a text from you like, why'd we retweet this? I'm like, what? They bought the product and posted
when
about
it's
it.
me, I feel like I can do whatever I want, and I don't really care, because if people get mad at me, I just ignore it, and like literally the next day it's whatever. They're not really going to affect me. Like, what are you going to... Someone who's boring enough to get mad about my jokes or something I do already didn't watch me in the first place.
Yep.
So what do I care if they're not going to watch me after? Whereas, like, if someone does buy a product or is likes your company, and then you do something and now they're never going to buy it again, like, that's obviously a direct thing.
Yeah.
But,
well, I don't run the Twitter anymore, so we're good there.
that's good.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll get on like 1 a.m. random post.
Well,
reply to
it's
stuff.
never anything that's kind of like risque or whatever.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, let me post it. I'll do it. I'll take the heat.
Yeah, you're one of the few creators on the platform that I've never seen post an apology video. You ever think
I
about
don't have
that?
anything to be sorry about.
Love it.
Not really. I'm sure I've said some things and done some things that make people mad. I don't care. Get over it. I don't know. I guess I'm just old enough. I guess I'm just old enough now where like I just don't. I have learned not everybody has to like everybody and everything.
Yep.
Some people and some creators feel like they need to be liked by everyone, and those are the ones that get. Those are the ones making an apology every week, every month.
Yeah.
Because they don't want anybody mad at them.
They probably have the highest
I've gotten to a
cancel
point
rates
where
too.
I just don't like. There's so many people out there watching so much content. I don't need all of you. I don't care.
Yep.
If you're boring, you go over there. You go be mad at stuff. I'm gonna laugh and make jokes and play stupid Gmod or whatever. Like, I don't know.
We've got rapid fire community Q&As. So
They better be actually rapid.
all right, rapid fire community.
Wait, is that what we're doing now? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
rapid fire community Q&A, and then we'll go into some new samples that we can't.
Let me get.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to do this the whole time. All right,
Kick your feet up.
here we go.
Here we go.
You can still hear me? Is my mic working?
Rapid fire. This is from the Glitch Discord.
The glitch cord.
The Glitch Cord, Uniglitch. Here we go. Question number 1 from True Sniper 07. When is the Wildcast coming back?
Well, now that we have this beautiful podcast set up, it might come back soon. I don't know. I'm going to talk to Anthony about it, see if we can get him here. The problem was, me and Anthony are both very busy and also very ADHD, anxiety stricken. And so there needs to be as little friction as possible. And now we have this space already set up.
Yep.
We have Jack here who can produce it. So now I might just send a text to Jack and be like, hey, can we record a podcast on whatever day and hit up Anthony, see if he's free, and then we'll show up here and do it. So maybe soon.
Yeah. So you heard it here first. Soon.
Yeah.
Definitely soon. 100%.
Not definitely
for sure.
soon. I'm not saying definite to anything because that was a lot of work.
Next week.
No. I don't think I'm good at this. I really don't.
Podcasting?
Yeah, I don't think I'm good at it.
What?
I don't think I'm good at conversation. I'm working on it. I think I'm getting better.
Yeah, well,
I might have
10
to
out
get
of 10.
I might have to get drunk. Maybe that's what we'll do.
Can't get too drunk, though.
Just a little social lubricant. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
a couple shots worth.
So another one, Storm Brewer said, if you had to remake a flavor, what flavor would it be?
Remake a flavor. What does that mean?
Ask him.
Like remake as in do better, maybe? Let's interpret it that way.
Yeah, okay. The first one.
The first flavor for sure. Imagine if we made that just like the Coca-Cola and it just popped off and it was the greatest thing ever and it went viral.
Yeah.
That one. We would make the first flavor the best flavor anyone's ever tasted.
Yeah.
Dunzo.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Isami Alex
It's a me.
says, what was the driving factor that made you start and put 100% into YouTube? Kind of answered that a little bit already.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, it was a combination of like being in the perfect position to do it in terms of like, I lived at home. My school was mostly paid for. My parents were paying for my first 2 years of school, the half that my scholarship wasn't, which granted it was a cheap school. So it was like a few $1,000s a semester. Granted,
Yep.
I don't want to discredit what my parents paid for. I'm very thankful, but it wasn't like $20,000 a semester or whatever. A few $1,000s a semester. So I had no bills. I lived at home. And the only thing I had was a part-time job that didn't make me much money. So I just had a perfect opportunity to try and do it 100%. And then once I started making enough money that I had, I could live on my own and was making as much as a good job. I didn't need to go to school anymore. So I quit going to school. Yeah.
All right,
Perfect storm.
Battle says, Wildcat, can you please give me a Prius? That's not a question.
Probably not. Not right now.
Monkey says, how did it feel to see a video blow up for the first time? Ooh, that's a good one.
So my actual, I wouldn't say it was like a video. It was seeing Vanoss blow up. That was like the sickest thing. So when we first started out, me and all my friends had like 10, 20, 50, 100 subs or whatever. And then Vanoss went on like this commentary thing where like a bigger Call of Duty creator back then would like host up and coming commentators on his channel and have a conversation with them and promote them. Back then, if you did that, you could gain a ton of subs. I remember Evan did that, gained a few hundred subs, and that was crazy. Just watching him gain like 200 subs overnight. That was nuts.
I bet.
But when it really happened was when he made the White Boy 7th Street remix. I don't know if you know about this.
No, I don't.
White Boy 7th Street back in the day, huge Call of Duty creator. And he would do live streams and say a bunch of wild on live stream. And Vanoss took it and edited it and remixed it because he's good with music, right? Made this cool remix. And then White Boy found it, loved it, and asked to repost it. So this was basically like the biggest Call of Duty creator at the time reposting Evan's video. He gained like 15,000 subs overnight.
Jeez.
That was insane. My mind was blown. I couldn't believe it. That was nuts.
That's crazy.
And I was like, that's my friend. I was like, it's time to start mooching.
All right, Stormbrewer asks, what is your favorite country artist? Ooh.
Kane Brown, man, my homie.
Oh, yeah.
And Morgan Wallen. I like Morgan Wallen too.
Yeah.
But I have to say Kane, I'm biased. I
Both
met him.
homies.
He's cool. I've been to his house.
Any other clout chasing things you want to say about that?
I was on his tour bus.
You were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walk through a Taco Bell drive through.
Yeah. No, that was Keller. I didn't walk
Oh,
through the
no.
Taco Bell.
Never
Keller
mind.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spring Bonnie says, what makes you want to keep going with content creation?
Money. No. I don't know.
I'm
What
clipping
else?
that.
What else am I gonna do? What
Yeah.
else am I gonna do? I don't know. Like I have things I'm passionate about, but this is always something like I love creating content. Like it's the greatest thing in the world because I can take any hobby that I'm interested in and turn it into not only a way to make money, but just a way to like connect with people and make people like all I've ever been good at really is making people laugh, and YouTube is literally like the perfect place to do it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing like what else am I gonna do? I'm gonna go do the same stuff but just not record it. I might as well just record it. And I'm at a point now where I can pay someone else to edit it.
Yep.
So I just go do fun stuff and record it. It's nice.
All right. Diali asked.
Shout out to Ali, longtime supporter.
Oh, yeah. How did you feel when you saw that people do enjoy your content? Do you still feel the same way now?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no real other way to put it other than that. Like, it makes me excited. It makes me happy. It makes me want to make more. Even now, like, I'm at a point where things are kind of trending downward a little bit. Just gaming in general has been slow. Every now and then I kind of stop and go through my analytics and just kind of look and go through comments and just read the things that people say. And it's like, okay, even if I'm not getting as many views now as I was a couple years ago, whatever, first of all, I know that this thing goes in waves. Sometimes you'll be up, sometimes you'll be down. But just reading comments and seeing people genuinely enjoy my stuff or like laughing at a moment in the video that I thought was funny and they thought was really funny. Like, I don't know. That just
Yeah.
makes
It's
me
magic.
feel good, warm and fuzzy.
And then the last one, Spring Bonnie asked, will you make a glitch flavor that doesn't rhyme with breeze, freeze, or squeeze ever?
So I think we talked about this kind of in the beginning, but yeah, I think Because I don't know anything. We use Chat GPT to come up with other things that rhyme with breeze and freeze and squeeze. There's really nothing else good. There's like please.
The power of AI could not help with that one.
There's what please and
please, tease,
cheese. I don't think a cheese flavor's coming.
Sneeze. Yeah.
Sneeze. Yeah. So we may have to go with the new trilogy, or we could do potential Halloween flavor. We might even have to bleep this because this is genius. Just off the top of the dome, I'm good at this stuff. Dude, a Halloween flavor that's all gross looking. It's wild booger sneeze. Oh my! And it's like green and goopy and ooh.
Write that down.
That could be the last one. Anyway,
write it down, Scott.
If you heard that, then cool. If you didn't hear it, then don't worry about it. We may do maybe a new trilogy. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
But the wild has to stay in there because that's how you know it's my flavor.
And the last thing we've got today, on the note of flavors, is kind of what's next for Glitch. And so we're gonna do some new flavor testing live on podcast here. Scott's got some flavors for us, and then we're gonna test a new potential product. We can't say what it is.
This new potential product, yeah, we're not gonna say what it is, but I don't think I've really ever even experienced this. So this is a true test for a live reaction here.
So let's start with the.
Supposedly, this is something that sounds disgusting, but ends up like we've got it figured out. It's really good.
And so, as you know, we don't just launch products that have already been launched in the space. We put our little spin on it, unique spin.
Yeah.
And so, what we did with this is we included ingredients for eye health.
There it
blue
is.
light.
We talked about that in the past.
Yep.
You guys don't know about that.
We
but
found a way to put it in a product that
that makes
the
more
product
sense.
is, you can bleep this out. They'll see it, but it's green, and it's always going to be green. So maybe that's too much of a spoiler, but you can't color it any other way.
Yeah, that's
So-
another thing. We don't use artificial coloring.
Yeah,
right?
all natural colors.
So if you guys have ever poured your Glitch into like a glass or whatever and thought like it's not the greatest looking color, it's because we don't use artificial colors. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not trying to turn your pee funny colors.
Red-
all right.
red dye, not
good. Tell the story. Jacob, tell the story.
Okay, when we first launched Glitch, and this is probably what we would have changed off the first launch, because we just didn't know any better, and we got a lot smarter. But our first Glitch product had red dye in it, and it was not naturally colored. And
disgusting.
My grandma, shout out Graham.
Shout out Grammy.
Yeah, she texts me and she's like, "Can you send me the link? I want to buy your launch and support you." And then I sent her the link, and then she looks at it, and all she does respond back is red dye, not good. And that's the only text. Not
So
a
from
congrats.
that point forward, no more artificial
Yeah.
flavoring or coloring.
Then I had a talk with
coloring.
Graham, and she's like, "Hey, you know that this stuff isn't great." And I'm like, "Oh, I guess I didn't realize it." And then she's growing up. She always supplied our whole household with a bunch of herbs and supplements. She was like super into it, and
Yeah.
probably
lead
why
paint?
yeah
No lead paint on the walls.
yeah no she's
good.
super healthy.
It's good.
And yeah, so Graham's part of the reason why we don't have artificial coloring in
Anyway,
our product.
red dye not good. There
Yeah.
you go. All right,
So,
are we
all right.
trying this now?
Let's test some of these. Scott, you wanna pour some of these up for us?
All right, let's do this.
Um,
Pull it up.
what is this? Is this
Let's end with.
No, I feel like we should do that first
Okay.
all right?
because we
yeah,
just talked about it and hyped it up.
Yeah.
All right,
So
look at this. This is
when we do flavoring, we look at all 5 senses. Yeah. So we
so
look
let's take a look at the site. Wow, that looks disgusting. See, I can give non-biased opinions.
So-
This looks awful.
and then we smell
Okay,
it.
it looks like dirty pond water.
We smell it. Smells a little like
It smells a little. I don't know
like
about
dirty
the smell.
pond.
Now let me listen to it. It sounds like liquid. Sounds like liquid.
Was that 3?
That was 3.
Yeah, and what's and 4 and
Yeah,
5?
touch it.
Mouth.
Yeah, touch it. Yeah, mouthfeel of the touch. Yeah, and then
All right, now let's taste.
cheers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. It's not bad.
Not what you would expect.
Hold on.
I know. Just block out the smell.
Yeah, really, the only issue is the smell.
Yeah, and it doesn't smell like that after you drink it.
So when you taste it, what does it taste like to you?
I heard you say Fruit Loops. It kind of tastes like Fruit Loops.
So we matched it to the lemonade, the electric lemonade, and I had a friend who told me that he thought it tasted like blueberry.
It honestly does not taste bad. It just smells bad.
The best tasting.
Just
Bleep this. Yeah. We told our lab that we can't just have a good tasting It has to be objectively good tasting, or else like it will never work for us.
Yeah, that tastes good.
And it's super good
How
for
can
you.
we work on the smell? Is that just not possible because of what it is?
No, there's ways to work on the smell
If
for
we
sure.
work on the smell, that's really the only issue. Is as you're about to take your drink, you get the smell and it's not that great.
Yeah.
But then as you actually like, it tastes good.
Now keep that in there, and mix a little of this in.
What?
This is hydration.
What are we doing? Oh.
Now try that, because
Oh.
this is why, like, when we
That
talk
looks
about
even
product
worse.
stacking.
Fire.
Yeah,
Delicious.
equal parts too. So when you talk like this plus hydration, you can stack energy.
That masks the smell very well.
We're also coming out with tall shakers again. That's a teaser, but those are needed now, especially with multi product people doing 2 or 1 scoop
Yeah,
of
I
each,
do that
etc.
sometimes. Sometimes in the morning when I got to run to the gym like 30 minutes after I wake up, I put a scoop of energy and hydration in this bad boy. Slurp her down.
Yep.
That was
Surprising.
genuinely much better than I expected,
Yeah.
especially after I smelled it. When I smelled it, I was not feeling it.
Let's
So-
go to the green, not the dark green. but
This one?
the-
So again, guys, this we're not saying what it is, okay? But this has health benefits to drinking. It's not like this is not just soda to
Yeah.
drink. This has health benefits. And so
Probably our healthiest potential
that's why I'm like, oh, it
product
doesn't smell that great, but it actually tastes very good.
And this one, Scott, which one is this?
That is the
Hydration?
Yes. Obviously, that's what we play.
Potential, bleep this out, flavor.
Ooh, this could be the
Booger. That does look like mucus.
You want, yeah, it's another signature flavor though. So
We were gonna call it like Liechtenstein or something.
that needs a tweak. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain what I don't like about it.
a little more bite.
Yeah, it just didn't have enough bite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It tastes like this. It tastes like there was a popsicle flavored like this, and then you melted it.
Yeah.
Or this was in a cup this big with ice, and then you drank it down to here, and then you let the ice. It's just it doesn't have enough kick.
You
I
probably should
put too much water in it.
try the energy with this side by side too.
I bet
But-
the energy in that would be very good.
Yeah. All
The
right.
energy was spot on.
And then
I'm not gonna tell you the last one. You're gonna be able to tell when you pour it out.
last one, I think we've tried this before, yeah?
I think you and I have.
Okay. We tried the energy version before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what we do every now and then, like once a month or once every couple weeks.
We'll be doing it a lot more now that
These
we're all
guys just
here.
come over with a bunch of concoctions and shove it down my throat. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
That is urine.
That is pee-pee. Yeah.
So you see it,
Here you go, ma'am. Here's my urine sample.
looks good, smells good. Cheers. Oh, that
Probably
smells
totally is
amazing.
like that.
That smells amazing.
That one's spot on.
Ooh. Ooh.
Am I supposed to guess this one?
Sure.
Hold on. I don't want to be wrong.
Whatever you guess is gonna be bleeped out anyway, so
Is this
sure is.
okay?
Sure is.
I was right. You got bleeped, but it was right.
Don't read his lips. And yeah, got a lot more samples that we can try offline at some point. But yeah, so to wrap things up, first maiden podcast, Wildflower Breeze,
Need it under the sunlight.
launching today.
Out now.
It's out now.
Get it under the light. There you go. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Tastes like crushed up candy
Mhm.
with a little bit of hibiscus.
Tastes like some of these bad boys.
So click the link wherever you're seeing this. I just blue screened there for a second. I'm just watching you.
Get yourself some Wildflower Breeze. Click the link.
Enter the contest, the Wildcat
Enter
Cup.
the contest. Win some prizes.
Over 100 prizes.
Yeah.
Doing a live stream later today. Fortnite customs
Today?
aka launch day. This will go out on launch day.
Nice.
Yeah. And if it
Listen to
doesn't,
those?
sure, yeah.
Well, there you go. Well,
Yeah.
conclude us, Jacob. Right? We're done, right? Give us a nice send off. This is a big moment. Outro. Okay, don't that's gonna upset people. They don't like that.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So, I didn't even think about an outro. First off, thank you so much for being the first guest on the podcast.
Yeah, it was.
Against
I
your
really
will.
didn't have a good time, but
Yeah.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I probably won't do it again.
That's why we did it first. So, and if you're listening to this, if you have any suggestions on topics for the podcast,
Well, who do you want to see?
yeah, who do you want to see? What creators? We're going to be doing some solo podcasts too, but we'll feature a lot of guests and any topics that you might have. Yeah, I'm really destroying this outro.
It's fine. Just bring her home. Thank you guys for watching and listening.
Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Click the like button. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Smash it. And then click the link in the description while you're at it. Go pick yourself up some Wildflower Breeze before it sells out. And that's how we are glitching the system.
Glitch the system.
Have a great night, everyone.
Boom!
We're out.
System glitched.